Once your adorable chicks have grown up into adorable adults, they will need an appropriate place to spend their days. In this video, we will talk about the proper setup for chicken coops and runs. The internet is filled with wonderful DIY chicken coops and also coops that you can order online that are pre-made or just need to be assembled. Whatever you choose for your chickens, there are some basic guidelines to follow. A food and water source, perching and nest boxes, airflow, the correct amount of space, and make sure that it is secure and safe for your chickens. Take into account the amount of chickens living in the space. You will want ample amount of water and feeders to discourage fighting amongst the flock. We have multiple feeders that we can place food in and multiple waters that our chickens have access to. Water and feeders should be cleaned daily to ensure they aren't consuming any feces. Along with enough feeders and waters, you will need plenty of perching opportunities. Chickens like to roost at night, so providing these spaces for them to sleep and get away from other chickens is helpful. Having enough perching will help reduce fighting between chickens. And nest boxes are helpful to have a uniform space for your chickens to lay in. These nest boxes don't need to be fancy. Just make sure they are separated by a wall and have some sort of bedding so when they do lay eggs, the eggs won't crack on the hard surface. If you're in a colder climate, you may need to consider an insulated coop. A lot of chicken breeds can handle very cold temps, even in the negatives. But be sure you have properly insulated the coop for the winter. Removing insulation for the hot summer months is essential since the temps inside the coop can rise quickly and chickens can overheat in under an hour. In the colder months, offering bedding material can also help keep the warm in and the cold out. You can also find heated waters to avoid your waters freezing over. Coop placement is really important to consider. A coop with little to no shade can become extremely hot and can kill your flock. A coop with too much shade can harbor mold. Respiratory illness is a main killer of chickens. You will find suggestions for heat lamps on some websites, but take careful consideration before deciding on this option. Heat lamps in a chicken coop can be a huge fire hazard no matter how far they are off of the ground. It can also quickly overheat the chickens in the coop since, as mentioned before, many chicken breeds are very well adapted to the cold. And finally, if the heat lamp goes out during a cold snap, you are more likely to have a huge die-off since the chickens are not able to adjust to the cold over time. Airflow is super important, especially in the warmer months. Without airflow, your coop can get extremely hot, which can cause death for your chickens. Windows with mesh coverings will keep the coop secure and safe while offering airflow. We advise not to have your chickens cooped up all day. If you don't want your chickens to be free range, you can easily make a chicken run using chain link fence or a dog run purchased online with chicken wire over the top. This way you can let your chickens have access to the outdoors but still keep them secure and safe. Make sure you check around the coop often to make sure no predators are digging in. We put a layer of chicken wire under the fence and the ground on the inside of our run to deter digging predators. This can be done on the inside of the coop as well. Chicken runs as well as coops need to be secured with either hot wire on the outside or mesh dug at least 1 foot underground. Once predators find their way into your chicken run, it takes a lot to keep them out, so prevention is key. Whether you are making your own chicken coop or buying one online, make sure it checks all the boxes before introducing it to your flock. Simple modifications can be made to any coop if need be.